What is up, everybody? Today, trade cap for May 22nd, 2026. And today, I took two trades today. One on Palantir and wait, wasn't opening. Okay, one on Palantir and one on Tesla. So, absolutely insane day for me personally, right? Very good comeback on Tesla for around a $5,000 win. So, absolutely insane, right? And I actually managed this trade pretty poorly at the end, but we'll talk about this here, right? I'll talk about what I saw today, what opportunities there were, and also how I found Tesla later in the day because, right, it wasn't just a random play I found, right? There's a thesis behind it. I'll explain it and also show you guys my alerts. So this video will be very, very informative. And also, I'm going to be dropping too much sauce in this video. I'm going to be quite honest, right? But yeah, let's get into the video. So let me pull up the alerts and pretty much talk to you guys what the pre-market game plan was, right? What are we doing at pre-market, right? Where are we opening up on QQ and SPY, right? Where are the indices opening up? Where is tech opening up? What names do we want to have on watch, right? These are very important things you kind of have to understand. Give me a second. Okay. So 8:30 QQ SPY opening above our previous high. So want to see us hold 717 on QQ, right? SPY is already kind of above our previous high level, so the reaction on QQ will be more important. To look for longs on tech. Otherwise, they end up coming back down. We'll have to be patient for name to show strength slash weakness. AMD is the only name showing relative strength in pre-market. We can also keep an eye on IWM above 185, right? Wait, 185? Hold up. Let me go on this monitor and pop it up. So why am I saying these names, guys? This is gonna be a longer recap because I'm gonna go over everything, right? So why am I talking about AMD? Right, AMD first of all, clearly above our previous high level, strong price action above our pre-market high, clearly relative strength at a higher time frame, right? Check marks every single box, right? Very kind of obvious, higher time frame. Of course, that isn't kind of guaranteed intraday price action, right? This intraday price action is dog shit. But yeah, so at AMD, our WM was on watch just because, right? Higher time frame again. Very kind of higher time frame break and retest thesis on this name, right? Break, retest of this kind of key level. Very nice kind of momentum to his upside. So that name is also on watch. Again, it's kind of hard to get entry on his name right. I think IMW about pre-market house on watch, and so this name barely got any delivery as well. So this name, right, didn't really do anything. And yeah, so that was pretty much two names that I kind of had on watch, right? Just a very easy thesis, right? Nothing else was kind of showing anything crazy on the entire market. You just really have to just wait and see price action develop, right? That's the most important thing. So what I see this morning, right? So 841 Palantir calls on watch, 138 calls in Palantir calls. So I'll pretty much explain to you guys what I was looking at. Let me just go over every alert first, right? Big drop on QQ, right? Actually, huge drop. Look at that. We didn't hold pre-market high. Very big drop on QQ. I want Palantir to show relative strength now above YDH. Very kind of obvious play. Near stop loss, we want to see buyers. Spot high day, big sellers at 139. Out Palantir. Palantir calls on watch again, right? If we kind of can come back close to high and have a nice candle closure above high of day, and then have a retest of that, right? Entire market, nothing looks decent, right? Just chop, 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 chop. And Nvidia's actually showing some weakness, but again, it's hard to short these names when they're so bullish in the higher time frame, right? I'm not really trying to short these names. 917 watching Tesla calls lotto in Tesla calls. 247.5 calls, 425 is TP1, what I'm looking at, right? And I'll explain to you guys what I saw on this play, what this play was, what the thesis was on this play, right? What these from high time for 30% 2 minutes, right? I'll explain to you guys what I did on this trade. I also added again on this position. I'll talk about it, right? So stop loss below order block, YDH is the next TP, right? That's gonna be the main objective because that's a place we previously rejected, right? That's where we want to see kind of price show strong break. I think we did even show strong break, right? Wow, Apple's just ripping, right? Yeah, strong break, YDH, right, guys? Key levels work. Wait, is my mic in the face? Yeah. So watching Tesla closely, nice reaction, right? Watching Tesla closely because, right, we had that kind of hold of this order block, and that's where I actually added. I'll talk about that on my position. Same thesis, YDH is main objective, right? Everything is still intact, right? That YDH is gonna be the next TP. QQ reclaim low of day view up next. So this is the thesis, right, guys? If QQ is now reclaiming previously high level, right, higher time frame, that's bullish. SPY is retesting off YDH, that's higher time frame beacon retest, that's bullish, and we can reclaim view up on QQ, right? And Tesla can show relative strength, and this can mean that this name can run pretty nicely, right? And that's exactly what ended up happening, right? Tesla had a really, really nice run up, right? I really had soft hands on this trade, right? The trade actually ended up going over 200%, and I just don't even want to talk about it, right? Though it's really hard to get a perfect execution on these types of trades, especially when 0 days, right? There's a lot of emotions, but yeah, so that's pretty much the two trades I took today, right? Tesla 200% plus win, and then Palantir for I think 30% loss, so 25% loss, something like that. So I'll talk about those two trades now. So let's go over Palantir first, right? So what I see on Palantir, right? Palantir, right? This is a kind of a quicker trade because, right? I mean, quicker trade in the market opening because, right? I'm trading within the first 20 minutes, right? I want to see momentum kind of pick up. Palantir thesis was simply just off, nothing on the higher time frame, right? Higher time frame on Palantir is pretty dog shit, I'm gonna be honest. But right, I was kind of hoping that we kind of broke out of this upsending channel on Palantir, right? If you open on Palantir higher time frame, right, which it's such an other monitor, but I'm just gonna put on this one real quick, right? We can kind of see we're like slowly in an uptrend on Palantir in this uptrend, right? And it's kind of consolidation up this consolidation, right? So I just want to see show a strong break, show a nice price action of a reversal, right? Right. So that was kind of the thesis of this play, especially off this market open. That it was showing relative strength at market open, and so I simply enter calls off a simple of this kind of reclaim of this previous high level. Right, it just looks very really good. Right, previous high level right here, where we had a break above. We had a red candle, we had a strong reclaim above. So that just shows me bullish price action. Enter calls at this kind of candle closure of this candle. Stop loss will now be below this previous red candle pivot low, right? So this stop loss will be below this low right here, right? That would be my stop loss at this on Palantir, right? And so what do we got in this trade, right? We got this high day pop at 139, rejected. Came back below, held previous high level, had 139, rejected. Came back below, right? Got stopped out. Came back above 139, rejected. So this name just has insane sellers at 139, right? Very unfortunate, but you know that's how trading is, right? Like we really can't predict what's gonna happen at these key levels, right? We want to see strong candle closures for that kind of momentum to the next TP, right? But at this level, we literally can't even break TP1, right? We're showing such strong sellers on Palantir that we can't break TP1 3 times. So just took the L on Palantir, right? Pretty straightforward trade. Honestly, not a bad thesis, right? This is a pretty aggressive trade I entered in because, right, if this trade worked out, the contracts moved very nicely, right? Even to the downside, they'd moved nicely to the downside as well, unfortunately, but to the upside, they would have moved nicely as well, right? So, just an unfortunate loss, right? Is what it is. That's how trading is, right? And yeah, so, what am I even doing on here? Wait, I have Discord, right? So Palantir, that was a trade on Palantir. Now let's talk about Tesla, right? How can I kind of form a thesis on Tesla while we're in intraday range, right? You have to understand trading quite a bit to be able to understand why I'm taking this trade in Tesla's range, right? Normally I don't take trades in range unless we have a higher time frame thesis. That's always, I'm only going to take a trade in intraday range if I have a higher time frame thesis. Why? Because I can target higher time frame levels and I'll have a bigger risk reward, right? So what am I targeting on Tesla here, right? So what am I seeing first of all, right? First of all, I'm seeing Tesla, right, is bullish on the higher time frame. Just not off the bigger higher time frame, just off this intraday time frame alone, right? Why? We came back below pre-market high, not pre-market low. We're still pre-market high. We had a nice reclaim of pre-market high. Its price action is still choppy, but we had a nice reclaim of pre-market high. We had a nice reclaiming of VWAP, right? So what is happening now after we reclaim VWAP and pre-market high, right? So I'm not doing the higher time frame on Tesla and see what's happening, right? So guys, look at this higher time frame, right? Break, retest, stronghold of this key level, right? This 400 zone. We have a nice move up, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? I was anticipating the next higher high on this name, so I want to be included in that. And guys, this is not just something you kind of understand or will get being a beginner trader, right? I know this from experience, right? I can show you guys examples. The Tesla is this example right here. The reason I can enter in this intraday just off these kind of confluences alone is because of the higher time frame thesis for that next higher high on the hourly candle, right? That's the majority of my thesis, right? And where can we find other examples of this kind of trade playing out, of this thesis playing out of a simple break and retest with this momentum, right? We can go on to AMD, right? Let's go on AMD. AMD. Nice break, retest, momentum, right? Very nice momentum on 400 key level. Again, nice break and retest 400 key hold on the momentum, right? We go on NVIDIA, right? We go on NVIDIA, right? We go on NVIDIA. Let's see here, right? Nice break, retest of this 200 area, momentum, higher, higher, low. Did I want to be included in this move up? And you guys know I rinsed NVIDIA this entire week. That entire week, I literally traded NVIDIA so many times. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I literally still have the fucking the thing. I don't know what it's called. Like the position calculator still opened up on these. So like, right, I'm rinsing this name on that move up. So you guys have to understand that we're trying to play with the trend, guys. That's literally the most common thing ever, right? That's the bare bone of every strategy, right? We're trying to play with the trend, right? NVIDIA. What's another name that we can kind of maybe see this exact same thing, right? Maybe I'm just guessing at this point now. I'm not even sure, right? Amazon, not really as much, right? A little bit, just more of a consolidation and then break of this kind of aura block up here, right? Not really, but again, you guys understand why I'm kind of doing this, right? That's Tesla thesis was a higher time frame break and retest, right? Higher time frame break and retest, right? That's why I'm kind of confident enough to try to kind of buy in the intraday range. Of course, I'm waiting for some confluences, like at least I'm above VWAP, at least I'm above pre-market high, so at least I can have a decent risk if it doesn't play out, right? If we end up rejecting, right, my key level end up coming back down. So what ended up happening on this trade, right? I'll show on Discord. Watching Tesla calls, Lotto in Tesla calls for 24. 247.5, right? Simply is off a reclaim of this 424 level, right? Higher time frame level. We broke above, right? Clearly reclaim VWAP, reclaim pre-market high. Now I just want to see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. That's literally what I'm playing off. I'm literally nothing anything crazy, right? We end up hitting TP1 on this name, which is really nice, right? So I end up taking half off at TP1, and then we end up coming back near stop loss, right? So stop loss was right here on this trade at this 424 level, and so I end up actually buying more of this trade. So I end up taking 25% off, I mean 50% off at this high, and then actually end up buying again, literally again 25 more cons at this kind of pop, because why can I kind of rebuy? First of all, higher time frame thesis. Second of all, QQ spar bouncing off low of day. Third of all, right, even if this ends up coming back down here, guys, my stop loss now is going to be below this candle, this 424 now, because we already showed a reaction off that area. So now previous support right now, if it's going to be broken, now I'm going to be stopped, right? So I can now adjust my stop loss now that we bounce off that area with my same thesis intact, right? That's like, right, it's very, very kind of straightforward. I'm not doing anything too crazy, right? And yeah, I mean, how long is this video? 10 minutes long, right? That's pretty much right. But these on this Tesla trade, like, and nothing doing anything too crazy, right? Understanding what the higher time frame is doing, if there's momentum, right? What is happening? And yeah, so Tesla, I mean, is looking absolutely insane for that 500 push now. Now that we showed strong buyers at this 400 zone, right? With SpaceX IPO coming, right? I'm not surprised if this name ends up pushing to 500. So we're gonna keep Tesla on watch this entire month and the upcoming month as well, to kind of keep rinsing this name, right? And guys, like this trade, right? Even though I ended up making like what $4,000, 5,000, bro, I was up $7,000 on this trade, and I ended up just like having the worst kind of management of the trade ever. I it's such a bad management that, like, honestly, I don't even want to talk about it. The manager is so bad of this trade, even though the entries and the thesis was perfect, the execution was bad. I don't like. I just, it was a bad execution, right? I ended up leaving $2,000 off the table, right? And we're trading those 0 days expiration, right? When you market sell, especially on these kind of these dips, like you lose so much money. It's absolutely insane. Like the amount of, it's actually insane. So yeah, I mean, I'm just complaining at this point, but I mean, yeah, that's pretty much a trade recap, right? Let me pull it up, right? Absolutely insane month, guys. Literally insane month. And like, it's insane because I'm just waking up every single day, following my exact same system, and letting the probabilities play out. I'm not doing anything crazy, right? It's all over here, right? Like, I'm not doing anything crazy, right? If I don't see a good day, I'll just call it a day, right? It's pretty, like, you don't have to be training every single day. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a trade recap. If you guys have any questions, join Discord down below. And then if you guys got value from this video, which you should have, please like and subscribe. And I mean, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a trade recap, right? SPY and QQ now are actually actually at high of day now, so that's pretty good news for the overall market. Right, Apple's just ripping, which is kind of funny. Like Apple high time frame also looks really good, right? We had that hold at 300 level, that next break, the next kind of move to the upside, right? Next consolidation, right? Once we broke above 300, and then next move up, right? We consolidated at 300 range, and now we broke up. So Apple as well, right? This would be a nice swing, honestly. And there have been a lot of swinging opportunities, but honestly, I just don't swing just because, like, I can't really control what happens if there's a news event, maybe after hours, some like fucking like like China drops a nuke or some shit. Like, I don't know. I keep thinking that 1% chance that something does bad happen, right? But when you're playing when you're playing these names with the trend, it's pretty straightforward, very very straightforward, right? But again, right, one loss on pound here. Again, this is not an A plus setup. This is an A setup, right? Very solid setup, right? Decent price action, strong push above VWAP, above pre-market high, above previous high level. Retest of this fair value gap plus, right? The fair value gap right here. If you guys didn't know, fair value gap right here, right? Reclaim on the previous high level. Just want to see some momentum move up, but unfortunately, this Palantir seller is too powerful, right? We literally just can't go above 139, and everything stopped out. So this is what it is. And yeah, I mean, well, 13-minute long recap. How's that even possible? I don't even feel like I've been talking for 13 minutes. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much trade cap. Um, yeah, yeah, I'm calling it a day. Have a good day, everyone.